whispers at 3 a.m. Are you ready to uncover the truth and strengthen your English at the same time? Turn the page, but be careful. Some whispers never fade. Chapter 4. The Cold Touch. After listening to the recording, I could not move for a long time. My whole body felt frozen, and my hands were shaking as I held my phone. I kept playing the recording again and again, but no matter how many times I listened, the whisper was always the same. It was my name, and then the words, "Help me. I live alone, and nobody has ever stayed in my apartment." The doors were locked, and the windows were shut. There was no way anybody could have entered, but the whisper was real. That night, I was too afraid to sleep, so I sat on my bed with the lights on. Every small sound in the apartment made me jump, and I felt as if something was watching me from the shadows. At exactly 3 o'clock in the morning, the air in my room became cold again. I felt something strange, as if the air was heavier than before. My breath became shallow, and I felt as if someone was standing very close to me. Then I felt something touch my arm. It was soft and cold, like fingers brushing against my skin. I jumped out of bed and turned on the flashlight on my phone. I looked around, but there was nobody there. My whole body was shaking, and I could feel my heart beating very fast. I ran to the bathroom, turned on all the lights, and stared at myself in the mirror. There was a red mark on my arm. I had not touched anything, and there was no way I could have done it to myself. It was as if someone had grabbed me, but I was alone. Chapter 5. The Missing Woman. The next morning, I decided that I needed answers. I could not keep pretending that nothing was happening. The whisper, the cold air, the touch on my arm, everything was too real to ignore. I started searching online to see if anything strange had ever happened in my apartment before I moved in. At first, I could not find anything, but after some time, I found an old news article. It was about a woman who had lived in my apartment 5 years ago. Her name was Emily Carter, and she had disappeared without a trace. The article said that she had called the police on the night before she went missing. She had told them that she could hear someone whispering her name at night. She had said that she felt like someone was watching her and that strange things were happening in her apartment. The police came to check, but they did not find anything. The next night, she was gone. Nobody ever found her. And now, 5 years later, I was hearing the same whispers. Chapter 6. The Hidden Journal. I needed to know more, so I started searching my apartment. If Emily had experienced the same things, maybe she had left something behind. I checked every drawer, every cabinet, and every closet, but I could not find anything. I was about to give up when I noticed something strange about the floor of my bedroom closet. One of the wooden planks was loose. I carefully pulled it up, and underneath I found an old notebook. The cover was dusty, and the pages were yellow with age. It looked like it had been hidden there for years. I opened the first page, and my hands started shaking as I read the words written inside. If you are reading this, then you are in danger. Chapter 7. The Warnings in the Journal. I sat on the floor of my bedroom closet, holding the old notebook in my hands. My heart was beating very fast, and my hands were shaking as I turned the pages. The handwriting was messy, as if the person writing had been in a hurry or very afraid. The words on the first page were still in my mind. If you are reading this, then you are in danger. I swallowed hard and kept reading. My name is Emily Carter. If you have found this, then you must be hearing the whispers too. You must be feeling the cold air. You must be afraid to sleep at night. I was just like you, but I am writing this because I know that I do not have much time left. My breathing became heavy as I read her words. Emily had heard the same whispers. She had felt the same cold air, and she had known that something terrible was going to happen to her. I turned the page, and the words became even more disturbing. It always happens at 3 o'clock in the morning. The whisper calls my name. I thought I was imagining it at first, but it is real. It is getting stronger. I can feel something in the room with me. I can feel it watching me. I stopped reading for a moment and looked around my bedroom. Even though it was the middle of the day, I felt uneasy, as if someone was standing behind me. I took a deep breath and kept reading. If you are reading this, then it is coming for you too. You have to be careful. You have to find out what it wants before it is too late. I am leaving this journal here because I am afraid that I will not be able to escape. I do not know what will happen to me, but I know that I am running out of time. Those were the last words on the page. I flipped through the rest of the journal, but the last few pages were blank. Emily had never finished writing. She had disappeared before she could. Chapter 9. The Truth About Emily. My hands were still shaking as I picked up my phone from the floor. The screen had small cracks, but I did not care. My heart was beating very fast, and my whole body felt cold. I had seen something. I had seen a shadow standing at the end of the hallway. It had whispered my name, and then it had disappeared. I knew that I could not stay in my apartment any longer without finding out what was really happening. I needed answers, and I knew where I had to go. The next morning, I went to the library and searched for more information about Emily Carter. I looked through old newspaper articles, trying to find anything that could help me understand why she had disappeared. After searching for hours, I finally found something new. There was a police report from the night she had called, 911. The report said that she had told the officers that she could feel someone standing in her room at night. She had said that she heard whispers calling her name. She had said that she felt cold air around her at exactly 3 o'clock in the morning. But the most terrifying part was what she had told the police before they left. It is not a person. It is something else. It is waiting for me. The police had searched her apartment, but they did not find anything strange. They left thinking that she was imagining things. The next night, she was gone. No signs of forced entry. No signs of struggle. No signs of escape. She had vanished, just like that. And now, it was happening to me. Chapter 10. The Neighbor's Secret. As I left the library, I knew that I needed to speak to someone who had known Emily. I needed to find out more about her last days. I remembered that my neighbor, Mrs. Holloway, had lived in the apartment next to mine for many years. She was an old woman who rarely left her home, but I had seen her a few times in the hallway. I knocked on her door, and after a few moments, she opened it slightly. She looked at me with tired eyes and did not say anything at first. "Mrs. Holloway, I need to ask you something," I said in a quiet voice. She did not answer. She just stared at me. "It is about Emily Carter," I continued, "the woman who lived in my apartment before me." At the sound of Emily's name, her expression changed. Her hands tightened around the door, and her face became pale. "You need to leave that apartment," she said in a shaky voice. Her words sent chills down my spine. "What do you mean?" I asked. She looked around the hallway, as if she was afraid that someone was listening. Then she pulled me inside her apartment and closed the door. "You are hearing it, are you not?" she whispered. The whisper. "It is calling you." I felt my stomach twist with fear. "How do you know?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Mrs. Holloway took a deep breath before speaking.